Welcome to our Stories of Change teaching series. My name is Eric. I'm the lead pastor here at Vaughn Forest, and I want to say a special thanks to you for being part of a life group. We can't thank you enough. I want to start this session out by asking you guys a question. When you hear the word faith, what do you think? Is it a feeling? Is it a belief in yourself? Or is it a belief in God? In the Old Testament, there is a story of the life of Joshua, and he was an incredible leader with some incredible faith in his life. Some really important things to know about Joshua is that he was born into slavery in Egypt, as every Jew in his generation was, but he experienced this deliverance of God from Egypt, and he saw God perform the 10 plagues to break the people free from 400 years of slavery. Then he experienced the power of God as he parted the Red Sea, destroyed the army of the Egyptians, all these amazing things as they fled from Egypt. What was amazing was Joshua rose up as the assistant to Moses. And as he rose in leadership, the people were on the edge of victory to take the promised land that they had longed for 400 years. And Joshua and the 11 others went into the land as spies, and 10 of the spies were scared to death of the enemy that occupied the land. But Joshua and Caleb said, no, God will give us victory over our enemies, and we must take the land. But fear won the day. And it led Israel to 40 more years of wandering in the wilderness. 40 years Joshua had to live with the bad choices of other people. But the amazing thing about Joshua was that he never lost faith. He continued to believe that God would give them the land. Of course, Moses dies and Joshua takes over and begins to lead the people into the promised land that God had given them. And as they moved in, they conquered the people who occupied the land. And one of the greatest stories during that journey is in Joshua chapter 10. Joshua 10, verse 7 through 15 says this: So Joshua marched up from Gilgal with his entire army, including all the best fighting men. The Lord said to Joshua, do not be afraid of them. I have given them into your hand. No one will be able to withstand you. After an all-night march from Gilgal, Joshua took them by surprise. The Lord threw them into confusion before Israel. So Joshua and the Israelites defeated them completely at Gibeon. Israel pursued them along the road going up to Beth Horon and cut them down all the way to Azekah and Makkedah. As they fled before Israel on the road down from Beth Horon to Azekah, the Lord hurled large hailstones down on them, and more of them died from the hail than were killed by the swords of the Israelites. On that day, the Lord gave the Amorites over to Israel. Joshua said to the Lord in the presence of Israel, Sun, stand still over Gibeon, and you moon over the valley of Ajalon. So the sun stood still, and the moon stopped till the nation avenged itself on its enemies, as it is written in the book of Jeshar. The sun stopped in the middle of the sky and delayed going down about a full day. There has never been a day like it before or since, a day when the Lord listened to a human being. Surely the Lord was fighting for Israel. Then Joshua returned with Israel to the camp at Gilgal. Wow! I want to challenge you guys with two questions, and it's this: do we believe God can? And second is, do we believe God will? When you think about the fact that Joshua believed that God would literally stop the sun so that they could accomplish what he had called them to do. That is such a huge challenge I know in my life, because so often God calls us to do something great. God calls us to trust him. And think about our lives. Every one of us have been called to share the good news of Jesus, but so often fear dominates. In this incredible story of change where Joshua and the people of Israel trust God and bring victory, I want you guys to discuss this incredible faith story in your groups. I hope you have an awesome discussion. Thanks for being part of the Life Group.